This is 100 gallons right here, so I'm about 110 gallons. We got the first 60 gallons out by gravity, and it was still going. I just got impatient. There we go. Oh yeah. Hello and welcome to, well, Carlin's Worlds. Yeah, that should work. I'm a wanderer, a tinkerer, sometimes a nomad, a military veteran. I do things differently. There will be tinkering. I have a motorcycle, a truck, and a school bus. I live off-grid, so there will be some solar, batteries, inverters, and maybe even some wind. It blows. And that's all I can fit into about 30 seconds. Oh, and please, if you like any of this, it would be really awesome if you could subscribe and click that notify bell. Drop a comment if you have any questions or ideas. Share, like, comment, subscribe, notify. Oh, and Patreon if you're really an awesome kind of person. Cool. On with the show already. It's literally probably a quarter of an inch from falling in there. So I'm going to trim it just a little bit on this edge so I can drop the pump in. Well, I won't say it was easy, but it came out pretty clean. Let's see how we did. Oh yeah. Sweet. Okay, we're not frantic yet, but I'm trying to hurry because the sun has already set. It's going to get dark on me pretty soon, so not the end of the world to be out here in the dark. It's a lot better now than earlier when there's no snakes. Still, I'd rather not have to set up lights out here. So what I remembered that after starting to take my hose apart, that I do have a quick disconnect, a spare one. So I can put that on here. This is the end of the that adapter I built for the pump, my little utility sump pump. So now I can just thread a quick disconnect onto here and grab my green hose. The green hose is the one that doesn't collapse, and so that flows really good. That'll be fine. These are pretty cool. They just snap on. Leak a tiny little bit, not too bad. Now we're locked. So our setup, follow that hooks up to the manifold over there. So I put the valve back here instead, which is kind of below ground, so after a good rain it'll be submerged. That way's open. So there's a pipe that runs from the riser to here, and then from here I went up to here to where the tarp is, but I've got risers 3, 4 that are for future tanks, so eventually I'll have this set up pretty good. For now though, there's a valve on that coffee can, comes from there. Another valve here that goes to the bus, and it goes 2 inch all the way to about here, and then I go down to 1 inch and then 1 inch to a threaded fitting, and then I attached the PEX that comes up to the pump. The pump is self-priming, but as long as I've got water in the tank, it's wet all the way up to here all by itself, so I don't have to really worry about it. I could run the sump pump on the battery, but my battery's been a little low today. I've been using it too much, day off kind of thing. So we'll start up the Jenny. Touch the choke, usually first pull. Battery charger here. So I don't have much of a load right now, so I should be able to run the hot water heater at the same time. Water heater is heating. Valve is open, we're ready to go. I've got, this is 100 gallons right here, so I'm about 110 gallons. We got the first 60 gallons out by gravity, and it was still going. I just got impatient. And I thought this was a good time to test this, so here we go. Oh yeah. I put a faucet here, and the real reason for doing that Initially I put the T there so that I could fill up my drinking water containers. I'm getting algae in my main tank, which is fine for showers and laundry, but I don't really want to drink out of that, at least until I can get a filter set up. It doesn't look like it's like horribly toxic, it's just not really nice looking. Eventually I'll get some more chlorine going in there. But what I found was, when I first hooked up the hose using just gravity feeding, it wouldn't get enough of a siphon going to really get the water to flow because there was so much air in the line. And I kind of experimented with it a little bit. I'd open up the, disconnect the fitting and let the hose fill up, and then it worked a lot better. So I thought, well, since I wanted to put the faucet here anyway, that works really good for letting the air out. So I'll bring out a drinking water container, hook up the hose, open the valve without the pump, open the valve up, let the air out, and eventually the water starts running really good all by itself. So you don't need the pump. I'm down to 50 gallons already. That's freaking flying. That's very promising. I had looked at this earlier as an idea for transferring the rainwater. I was thinking about shooting rainwater right into the manifold, and I didn't, but I think next time I will. All right, I already filled up my other drinking water, so this is going to be set. I run this through a Brita filter. But I got about 25 gallons left, so we just knocked out a bunch of water there. That's really awesome. And this is exactly why I went with 2-inch fittings and pipes and hoses, because it can move the water fast. It's not really a burden to transfer it by gravity, except for when the sun is going down and you really don't want to be outside. And it's still November, and I'm wearing my shorts. How about that, right? All right. Now, in literally the amount of time it took to do that, I'm 4 minutes into the clip now. I'm cavitating. There's about 3 inches left in there. Knocked the camera over, I just realized the hose is right. That's basically it. That is very cool. I am stoked. I was not paying attention to the tank. I overfilled my main tank. I've never been able to do that before because science, right? So here's the deal. Let me get back to a shot where I can get all of this, I think, in the same frame. This has always been just kind of on the edge, right? I can't say that I'm level exactly, but the tank here is lower than the truck, which is over here, all right? But by the time the tank, this is an IBC 275 gallon portable water tank. By the time this tank gets full, the truck usually isn't quite empty over, where's my other finger, over here. And so kind of what happens is, if I get both my fingers in the same shot, when the tank gets full, the truck is coming down, I don't have enough vertical drop to get the water to flow. All right, so I usually end up messing around with a little bit of water left in the truck, and then I'll shoot it into like a trash can and store it for later. I've never had that IBC overflow because I've never been able to pump water into it. This is a high point. This is freaking awesome. I mean, you wouldn't think overflowing water is a big deal, but that works so good. I'm just giddy. I mean, okay, it's been a long day, but it's a good deal. It really is. So here's the one thing we got to remember, and I've screwed this up a few times now. Now I'm going to shut this valve off again because I've got water there that is higher than my outlet here, and it'll run out. So just clockwise to close it. It's a 90-degree quarter turn valve. Those are about $15 valves. I bought a whole bunch of them that day. Let the sand out of the trash can. You get 2 silver buttons, you push them down and then the levers release. Disconnect. Keep these levers down so they don't pop off, because when you got water flowing, it could be a problem. Release. And get this to go into the trash can, hopefully not spill. Usually when I do this, I end up knocking the trash can over by the time I get it full. So I'm trying to Alright, a couple gallons, free water, right? So I've got 2 identical pumps. One is going to be my clean water, one will be everything else. So drinking water, drinkable water. I think I mentioned this before on the last one. This one came from Amazon. Let's see, Superior pump, 1/4 horsepower, 1 1/4 inch NPT discharge, and it's got a garden hose adapter. Alright. Normally you'd run one of these. This is the adapter that comes with it. You hook up your garden hose to it, but you can see how much bigger it can do. So what I did, I found an adapter that went from here all the way up to 2 inch, because all of my other stuff is 2 inch. So you get less restriction then. That works really well. Tie the tank down so it doesn't blow away. Do not grab onto the valve. If you break that, your day is gonna suck. Normally you can't do this. You get it down to the point where you can't gravity feed anymore, and you still got more water than you can pick up and move. Alright, so we go valve open, slide the tank forward until you find a balance point. And do not drop it, because when the water sloshes, it's still pretty heavy. I've never gotten it this good though before. Right? Down to literally maybe 10 gallons left. Last little bit won't come out, but that's not a big deal. About where the chair is, actually. That'll be pretty good. At this point, the tank doesn't weigh very much. Underneath it, it's got a nice lip here, so it's pretty easy to handle. Get the board underneath. Since I have 2 today, I was using both. I can do this with 1 2x4, it's just a little bit more tricky. Alright. I find that if I leave the lid off, it's easier to grab inside the tank, slide it down the skids. As I walk right into a cactus. That's it. Yeah, only in my world would I set something up with this much care and purposely work around cactuses, because I think cactuses are cool. So I don't dig them out if I can help it. So I got one cactus here, right? Man, that looks really good right now. And then the other one right there. And every time I spill water, or not every time, but the first time I did this, I spilled a bunch of water. That thing ballooned like crazy. It was pretty cool. So, that's pretty much it though. I've got a plastic bag that I put over the disconnect fitting here, keep it cleaner. Make sure the lid's back on. Pretty stoked that I took the time to do that. I throw a strap over this just so it doesn't blow away. It does get pretty windy out here, so. We beat darkness. That's a good day. I'm totally stoked that my tank is overflowing though. The whole idea when I built this manifold, this was exactly it, really. I wanted a way to get the water from the truck into a pipe system and then open a valve, close the valve, open a valve, and choose where it went. This one feeds the pump that goes to the bus, but I've got there's a spur that's right here. That's the actual end of the pipe, so I could tap into that. There's a spur. I made a double spur here, so I could put another IBC right where this bush is. And then there's a riser here, there, and it goes straight out that way to. There's a little white picket right there. So this was all 2-inch pipe, and it was a hardship building it. I mean, financially and otherwise, because the pipe itself is relatively cheap. It was about, in quantity, it was $6 for a 10-foot pipe. So that's not really bad. It's just all the fittings. The valves were $15, and I kept putting valves everywhere, Like, yeah, where these mounds are, or here, one or the other. There's a valve going to each of these so I could shut off each tank. So when I get the tanks, I'll just have more water capacity. Which, when it rains, you want to catch as much as you possibly can. So when I built this little roof thing, that gives me probably another 30 or 40 gallons every time it rains. I've had several rains since I built this that I've got to do free laundry because I had enough water to do laundry just from what I caught. In fact, today when I went to get water, it's been 3 months since I've used this tank. So I did it in July, and then August, September, October, I only got small tanks of drinking water. I didn't take the big tank. So that totally paid for itself. I mean, in a way, because then I didn't have to go 15 miles one way just to get water. I was able to catch enough to do laundry and showers, right? So that was a big deal. So yeah, totally worth it. Giant pain in the butt when I was doing it, but now these are all built, and all I got to do, I'll take off, these little cardboard boxes, and there's a pipe sticking out. I'll just cut the tip off, mount a tank to it, and my plan on at least a couple of these is I'm going to experiment with building concrete tanks. If I can get that to work, that's a heck of a lot cheaper. 275 gallon IBC. This was a remanufactured tank, so it's a clean tank. If you buy the used ones, they've been used for chemicals, and you got to be careful with that. This one was a brand new tank in a refurbished metal cage. These are the ones that have kind of a conduit cage around the plastic tank, and they're built onto a metal skid. So that's maybe a little bit overkill, but I like the idea of it being portable. The next tank I get will be probably bigger. But yeah, this worked out really well. I'm really glad I thought to put that adapter on the pump. It worked out fantastic. All right, well, thanks for watching. This is like the golden hour. This is awesome. There we go. Focus even. Oh, and if you haven't seen this yet, that's another video that I just did today. Plastic and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, thanks for watching. Go ahead and click on subscribe. I'm doing a bunch of off-grid living type of stuff. I'm living in the school bus over here. I've also got a motorcycle. I've got the truck. And sometimes rabbits will walk right out in the middle of the shot. So, It's now after dark. You gotta love Texas. This is first week in November, and if I can do this till I drop the camera, yeah, I'm wearing shorts and t-shirt, so yay for us. Although a week ago it was 40 degrees. Now that's 40 above. So I'm from Canada originally, and when I say 40 in November, it's 40 below usually. So this is nice. I like this. All right, I think I'm gonna go enjoy some of this free water and take a shower. Cheers. This will be a bonus shot. See if I can find the end of the cord. There it is. Also, I think my hot water heater is hot because I just heard the generator change tones. So I got these work lights, a couple of years ago. They're LED work lights. They plug in, they are AC powered, not DC. These are pretty awesome. So since I'm out here mucking around in the dark still, turn them on so I don't trip on everything. Those were also on Amazon. I think they're about $12 a piece or something. Alright, so the plan is I can pick up my laundry and other stuff. Right. Yeah, that makes a difference. They pull like a ridiculously small amount of power, so I have ran them off of inverters before and they work just fine. I don't have to run the generator to run them. So that sure beats stumbling over stuff in the dark, that's for sure. Well, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, that should work. Cool. I do things differently. Oh, and please, if you like any of this, it would be really awesome if you could subscribe and click that notify bell. Drop a comment if you have any questions or ideas. Share, like, comment, subscribe, notify. Oh, and Patreon if you're really an awesome kind of person. Thank you so much for watching.